Good evening. This side, Rahul Magan here as a Group Chief Executive Officer, Treasury Consulting. As we speak, Treasury Consulting is a multi asset and multinational hedge fund. By multi asset, we mean we covering various asset classes across the globe. By multinational, we mean we cover our positions in US, Europe, and other regions. But like I repeated many a times, and I would continue to repeat, which is we are a proprietary hedge fund. By proprietary, I mean to say no third party. I repeat, no third party can invest capital in our funds. Please take a note of that. You know that we are a PPP desk. Our PPP desk is divided into two parts, like I said in earlier videos. Number one is the trading part. Number two is the advisory and consulting part. When it comes to trading part, we do not accept third party money. Straightforward. This is what I already explained in my earlier videos. So whatever position which we are taking, it is backed up by our own capital. As simple as that. When it comes to advisory, which includes bank guarantee, standby letter of credit, standby bank guarantee, SBLC, DPLC, subordinate bonds, and these kind of technical instruments, we provide consulting to the people, the technical knowledge to the people, trainings to the people, and all these things. High class knowledge. But guys, almost on a daily basis, people writing to me on LinkedIn, they're writing to me on WhatsApp, sometimes email me about the land trading program. And I would like to share one of my experience in a land trading program. So, a couple of days ago, a gentleman sent me a PDF and he told me that this is SKR. SKR means safe keeping receipt, which is done on a land by XYZ Indian Bank. And I was like, how can safe keeping receipt be done on a land? That's very important thing. Because this is a fundamental question I ask from myself. The technical question I ask from myself that how can SKR, which is safe keeping receipt, be done on a land? Like I told you in my earlier videos, also land are of various categories. Industrial land, agriculture land. In agriculture land also there are various categories. In industrial also there are various categories. And all these categories have respective pros and cons. Henceforth, if I use the lexical language, the dictionary language, there is no hard-edged line. I repeat, there is no hard-edged line which I can draw as far as the land trading is concerned. It is an art and a science as well. So I asked this question from that gentleman that how come the SKR is created on a land, and he told me a straightforward, I have a mandate. And when I ask him, am I talking about mandate or am I talking about the SKR on a land? Guys, you won't trust, he was almost clueless. Another important thing we need to learn in SKR is the text and covenants. The kind of SKR which I'm getting on my WhatsApp, they are 7 pages, eight pages, lot of bank stamps, signatures, maximum one paragraph, and all these things. And interesting fact is, people term that as SKR. The technical SKR is more than 20-25 pages. And the most important thing in the SKR is the text and the covenants. The technical text means that for what purpose the SKR is being made. Whether this SKR is serving this purpose or SKR is not serving this purpose. And if SKR is serving this purpose, example, then till what extent it is serving this purpose. Secondly is the covenant. In legal language, covenant means that the negative or a positive demarcation set up by the contract. It could be negative, it could be positive, it could be both. That completely dependent how the contract is designed. Now, when I'm using the word contract, I mean to say how SKR is designed between the bank, basically the financial institution, and the party, who is also known as principal. In covenants, there is a concept called carve-outs. And you would be very surprised to know that when you would see the actual SKR, you will see that the covenants and carve-outs are explicitly defined. Of course, I completely in sync that we still have interpretation issues. Law is all about interpretation issues. It happens even though you done at the perfect level, still there are interpretation issue. But law also saying that if both parties signing the agreement, it means it is no more an agreement, it is a binding agreement, which means it binds both the parties. And if any party, after signing willingly, knowing each and everything, and then taking a U-turn, hostile, then of course honorable courts are sitting to take this into consideration. But having said that, the most important thing in the SKR is the text, covenants, and many other things. And interesting fact is, people are sending me PDFs of 5 pages, 6 pages, 8 pages, in which hardly one or two paragraph, and full of signature, stamps, I would say, what do I say, attestations, and all these kind of things. Third important thing I would like to highlight is the notary acknowledgement. You can have SKR in India, you can have SKR outside India, you can have SKR in any part of the globe. So it has to be having a notary acknowledgement, which means the notary of the respective country, the court of the respective country, need to acknowledge this. It means that even though the bank, financial institution, and the relevant person done with the SKR, the court put their stamp and take this as a legal binding contract. And the interesting fact is, notary signatures and attestation is, God knows where are these critical, I would say, documents in SKR. please understand that there is no uniform format of SKR. There cannot be a uniform format of any contract because contract vary from person to person. It vary from country to country. It vary from corporate to corporate, industry to industry, government to governments, and even I would say the regulatory agencies to regulatory agencies. So please do take a note that SKR format cannot be generalized. So if you making a SKR in London, assuming the format would completely be different than if you would be making in Australia. And if you making this in United States, the format would be different than in India. Please take a note of that, very careful note of that. Another important thing is that the formats may differ, but the main heart, the body of that format is the text, how the person who drafted the contract linked the format with the text, linked the format with the covenants, linked the format with the carve-outs, and so many things. And this is where the actual drafting and the valuation comes into the picture. Only having 7 to 8 pages, I would say, which is full of stamp, name, hardly one or two paragraph, cannot let you know about the valuation of the SKR. And if anyone in the whole universe except me, without looking at text, covenants, and carve outs, can easily say about that this is what the valuation of the SKR would be, then I would love to term him as Einstein, or probably Edison, or probably Newton. Because without looking at the text, the covenants, the carve outs, the linkages, computing valuation is absurd. It is completely absurd. It is, I would say it is just hit and trial. If it hits, okay. If do not hits, then okay. And the chances of hitting is highly remote in nature. So please do take a note of that. Although there is no standard format of SKR, but still we have the good formats of SKR. And technically speaking, the foreign banks always follow the best formats. On time to time basis, they keep amending their formats, they keep amending their disclosure clauses, they keep amending their text, they keep amending the references which they are linking, which makes the format highly competitive in nature. Like I said, drafting is an art, it definitely not a science. The more input you would be putting in the SKR, the more elaborative stuff you would be putting in the SKR, the more benefit you would be having. Please do take a note of that. So the people, those who are asking me that do you have SKR format, please take a note that there is no hard edged SKR format. It varies from country to country. And even in one country, it varies. That's another beautiful thing of the finance, which people do not want to learn, to be honest. This is Rahul Magan, 9899242978.